I was sitting in seat 2A, first class, 37,000 feet above the Indian Ocean, when my phone lit up with the 67th missed call from my mother. The flight attendant had just offered me champagne. I accepted. The bubbles were cold and expensive and tasted like freedom. Below me, somewhere in the gray December chaos of Boston, my family was losing their minds. And I was watching the clouds drift past my window like I had all the time in the world. Because I did. For the first time in 33 years, my time belonged to me. 6 weeks ago, I was the dutiful daughter, the reliable one, the one who never said no, never pushed back, never caused trouble. I was Nora Mitchell, the woman who showed up early and stayed late and never asked for anything in return. And somehow, that made me invisible. Now I was flying first class to the Maldives while my mother screamed into my voicemail at 6 in the morning on Christmas Day. How did I get here? How did the woman who spent her entire adult life saying yes finally learn to say no? Let me take you back to the phone call that changed everything, 6 weeks earlier, October 29th. The call came at 7:43 in the evening. I remember the exact time because I had just closed my laptop after a 14-hour workday. I was exhausted in that deep, bone-level way that made even blinking feel like effort. But it was the good kind of tired, the kind that comes from doing work that matters. I was a senior financial analyst at Wellington Capital, one of the top investment firms in Boston. I managed portfolios worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I had spent 7 years building my career, proving myself, climbing the ladder one rung at a time. And I was close, so close to the promotion I had been working toward since I was 26 years old. My phone rang. The screen lit up with a single word that made my stomach tighten. Mom. I stared at it for 3 rings. My shoulders tensed, my jaw clenched. This was the Pavlovian response of a woman who knew that every call from Patricia Mitchell came with strings attached. Invisible strings. The kind you did not notice until they were wrapped around your throat. I took a breath and answered. Hey, Mom. I made my voice bright, cheerful, the performance of a loving daughter, Nora darling. Her voice was too loud, too excited. It was her fundraiser voice, her church committee voice, the voice she used when she wanted something. I have the most wonderful news. My grip tightened on the phone. My mother's wonderful news was never wonderful for me. Everyone is coming home for Christmas. She practically sang the words. Your sister, your brother, all the grandchildren. Lily, Mason, the twins, baby Olivia, and little Noah. Can you imagine? 6 grandchildren under one roof. I did the math in my head. 6 children, ages 6 months to 7 years. I could already feel the headache forming. That sounds lovely, I said carefully. The house will be full, exactly. And that is why I have a plan, a master plan. You are going to love it. I did not love it. I knew I would not love it before she even explained it. But I asked anyway. What is the plan, Mom? Well, I could hear the smile in her voice, the satisfaction of a woman about to spring a trap. Since there are so many of us, I thought the adults could have a proper Christmas this year. A vintage Christmas. Quiet dinners, wine tastings, relaxation. You know how stressed I get with all the noise. I waited. I knew there was more. And the children, she continued, her voice dropping into that conspiratorial tone she used when she was about to ask for something unreasonable. They will stay with you, at your apartment, for 4 days. From December 23rd through the 27th, a little Christmas camp with Aunt Nora. The kids adore you. You are so good with them. I sat in silence. My brain struggled to process the sheer audacity. Mom. I kept my voice steady. You want me to watch 6 children, including a 6-month-old baby, by myself, for 4 days. Oh, do not be dramatic. She laughed like I had said something amusing. It is just family time. You love the kids, and it is not like you have anything else going on. There it was. The first shot across the bow. I do have things going on, I said. I have work. I have a major deadline on January 2nd. I was actually planning to take a few days just to rest. I am exhausted. Rest? She scoffed. Rest from what? Sitting at a computer clicking a mouse all day? Nora, please. Your sister teaches 30 screaming children. Your brother drives all over the city selling real estate. They have real stress. They need this break. I have real stress too, I tried. I manage systems that affect millions of dollars. If I make a mistake, companies lose everything. But she was already dismissing me. You are single, Nora. You have no excuse. You do not have a husband. You do not have children of your own. You have all this space, all this freedom. It is selfish to keep it to yourself when your family needs you. I felt the familiar weight settle on my chest, the weight of obligation, the ghost of every holiday I had spent serving instead of celebrating. I already told Vanessa and Marcus you would do it, she added. Her voice shifted from sweet to steel. They are counting on you. Vanessa already bought a dress for the Christmas Eve dinner. You cannot ruin this for them. You should not have promised without asking me, I said. A pause. A long, heavy silence. I did not think you would be this difficult. She sighed like a deflating tire. After everything we have done for you, your grandmother would be so disappointed to hear you turning your back on family. The mention of grandmother Eleanor landed like a blow. Eleanor had been dead for 2 months. I had been the one who cared for her, who drove to Cape Cod every weekend for 3 years, who held her hand when she did not recognize anyone else. And now my mother was using her memory as a weapon. Vanessa really needs this time, Mom added quietly. She has things to handle. I caught the hesitation in her voice. Things to handle. What things? That is none of your concern, she said quickly. The point is, family helps family. The children will be dropped off at 9 a.m. on December 23rd. You deal with it. She hung up. I sat there in the silence of my apartment. The apartment I paid for with my own salary. The apartment in the building where I owned my unit outright because I had been smart and careful and responsible. The apartment they called too big for one person, too empty, too much space for a woman alone. To them, I was not Nora, the senior financial analyst who had paid off her student loans by 30. I was not Nora, the woman who had built something from nothing without their help. I was just Nora, the single one, the childless one, the one with no excuse. I opened my laptop, stared at the screen. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I typed into the search bar, last-minute Christmas vacation packages. Then I deleted it, closed the laptop. Not yet, but the seed was planted. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, my brother. Hey, did Mom call you? Can we talk? Before I could respond, an email notification appeared. From Mom, sent to Vanessa and Marcus. I was copied. Subject line, Christmas arrangement confirmed. I opened it. Nora has graciously offered to host all the grandchildren for the holiday week so we adults can finally have a peaceful Christmas. And there at the bottom, a postscript that made my blood freeze. Also, we need to discuss Grandmother Eleanor's beach house. I have found a buyer. I read those words 3 times. She was already selling the beach house, the home where I had spent every summer of my childhood, the place I had cared for Eleanor until her last breath. And she had not even asked me. That was when I realized. My mother was not just using me. She was erasing me. I read that email 17 times over the next 3 days. Each time, the words felt sharper, more deliberate, more cruel. Nora has graciously offered. I had not offered anything. I had not agreed to anything. My mother had simply decided what I would do and announced it to the family as fact. But it was the postscript that kept me awake at night. Grandmother Eleanor's beach house. I have found a buyer. The house was not hers to sell. The grief was not even cold yet. Eleanor had been gone for 2 months. 2 months, and Patricia was already calculating the profit. But what my mother did not know, what none of them knew, was that Grandmother Eleanor had made other plans. Let me tell you about my grandmother. Eleanor Rose Mitchell was the only person in my family who ever truly saw me. Not as a utility, Not as a convenience, as a person. When she was diagnosed with early-stage dementia 3 years ago, my mother's response was immediate and predictable. "She should go to a facility," Patricia said. "I cannot handle this." Vanessa had 4 children and no time. Marcus simply disappeared, the way he always did when responsibility called. So I stepped in. I drove 2 hours to Cape Cod every single weekend. I hired a part-time caregiver with my own money. I sat with Eleanor through the confusion and the fear and the forgetting. I held her hand on the days when she did not recognize anyone else. I was there. I was always there. There was one evening, about 6 months before she passed, when Eleanor had a moment of perfect clarity. We were sitting on the porch of the beach house, watching the sun sink into the ocean. The sky was painted in shades of orange and pink, and the air smelled like salt and summer even though it was almost autumn. She reached over and squeezed my hand. Her grip was stronger than I expected. "You are the only one who sees me as a person," she said. "Not a problem. Not a burden. A person." I did not know what to say. I just held her hand tighter. "Promise me something, Nora." Her voice was urgent. "Promise me you will stop letting them use you." I promised. But I did not know how to keep it. Not then. She was quiet for a moment, staring at the horizon. Then she added, almost to herself, "I have made arrangements. Your mother will not like them, but you will understand when the time comes." 3 days after my mother's email, I understood. A certified letter arrived at my apartment. The return address was Sullivan and Associates, Estate Law, Hyannis, Massachusetts. My hands trembled as I opened it. The letter was addressed to Ms. Nora Catherine Mitchell. Per the instructions of Eleanor Rose Mitchell, deceased, the letter began. I read it twice to make sure I understood. Eleanor had created a separate will, a secret one, created without Patricia's knowledge, and I was named as the sole beneficiary. The beach house at 47 Ocean View Drive, Cape Cod, was mine. A trust account containing $214,000 was mine. But there were conditions. The property could not be sold for 5 years. It had to be maintained as, in Eleanor's words, a place of peace and refuge. If I sold it within 5 years, ownership would revert to a marine conservation charity. I sat there stunned. Tears ran down my face. Not from sadness, from something else. Something I had not felt in a long time. I was seen. I was remembered. I was valued. Eleanor knew. She knew exactly what Patricia was capable of. And she had protected me anyway. Tucked inside the legal documents was a handwritten note, Eleanor's handwriting, shaky but unmistakable. "My dearest Nora," it began. "If you are reading this, I am gone, and if I know your mother, and I do because I raised her, she is already trying to sell the house. Do not let her. That house is yours. It was always meant to be yours. You were the only one who sat with me. The only one who did not see my illness as an inconvenience. Your mother will never change. She sees people as tools, not as souls. But you, my darling, you are different. Use this house as your sanctuary. Use the money to build a life that belongs to you. And when they come for what is yours, because they will, remember this. You do not owe them your peace. I love you. I always did. Even when I forgot your name, I never forgot your kindness. Grandmother Eleanor." I read the letter 3 times, then a 4th. I cried until I had nothing left. For the first time in my life, someone had given me permission to fight back, permission to protect myself, permission to say no. But my grandmother had underestimated one thing: how fast my mother would move. I called Attorney Sullivan the next morning to confirm everything. He verified it all. The will was ironclad, filed properly, legally airtight. Patricia had no claim. But then he hesitated. "Ms. Mitchell, I should tell you something," he said. "Your mother has called my office 4 times this week. She knows about the will? She knows now. She wanted to contest it. I informed her she has no legal standing. There was a pause. I could hear him choosing his words carefully. There is something else. Your mother contacted a real estate agency in Chatham. She has been showing the property to potential buyers. She told them she had power of attorney. She does not. I felt the cold settle in my chest. She was trying to sell a house she did not own, using a legal authority she did not have. One more thing, Sullivan added. Someone else has been calling about the property, a woman named Vanessa. She asked about buying out your share. My sister. My own sister. I hung up the phone and sat in the silence. The pieces were falling into place. The Christmas babysitting scheme, the beach house buyer, Vanessa's interest in my share. They were not separate things. They were connected. They wanted me distracted, overwhelmed. Too busy with 6 children to ask questions. Too exhausted to talk to lawyers or read fine print. This was not about family helping family. This was about keeping me in the dark while they divided up what was mine. That night, I decided to check my finances. Just a standard review. I logged into my credit monitoring account and scrolled through the usual information. Everything looked normal until I reached the bottom of the page. There was a credit card I had never opened. Bank of America Platinum Card. Opened 18 months ago. Credit limit $50,000. Current balance $43,722. Payment status 60 days past due. Billing address 118 Maple Street, Brookline, Massachusetts. I did not recognize that address. I searched it quickly. The results loaded. My mother's house. The billing address was my mother's house. I scrolled through the charges. Furniture stores, department stores, restaurant bills, travel expenses. And there, repeating every month for over a year, one charge that made my heart stop. Harborview Senior Facility. Monthly payment. I knew that name. That was the facility Patricia said she could not afford when Eleanor was diagnosed. The place she claimed was too expensive. The reason I had to drive to Cape Cod every weekend and pay for caregivers out of my own pocket. She could afford it. She was paying for it. Just not with her own money. I stared at the screen. My mother had opened a credit card in my name. She had been using it for 18 months. She had charged $43,000 to my identity. And she had used my stolen credit to pay for services she swore she could not afford, while I exhausted myself caring for Eleanor out of guilt and obligation. My grandmother left me a house and $200,000. My mother left me a debt I never agreed to and a credit score in ruins. And somehow they still expected me to babysit. I picked up my phone and texted Marcus. We need to talk. Now. My hands were still shaking an hour later. I had taken screenshots of everything. The credit card statement, the billing address, the 18 months of charges I never authorized, the Harborview Senior Facility payments that proved my mother had been lying to me for years. I saved them all to a folder on my desktop. I named it Evidence. Then I picked up my phone and called Patricia. It was 11:47 at night. I did not care. She answered on the 4th ring. Her voice was groggy and irritated. Nora, it is nearly midnight. What is wrong? I kept my voice steady. Flat. The voice I used in boardroom negotiations when millions of dollars were on the line. I found the credit card, Mom. Silence on the other end. The Bank of America card, I continued. $43,000. Opened in my name. Billed to your address. Still silence. You used my social security number. You have been charging things for 18 months. My credit score is destroyed. There was a long exhale on her end. Then her voice came back, casual and dismissive. Oh, that. Yes, that. Care to explain? Her tone shifted into something defensive, something rehearsed. It was an emergency, Nora. You know how expensive your grandmother's care was. I felt my jaw tighten. You told me you could not afford a facility. You made me feel guilty for not doing more. You made me drive to Cape Cod every weekend for 3 years. Well, I could not afford it with my money. I had other expenses. So you committed fraud instead? Her voice hardened. Do not be dramatic. It is a family matter. I will pay it back eventually. Eventually? My voice cracked despite my best efforts to stay calm. My credit is ruined. I am 60 days past due on a card I did not know existed. This could affect my job, Mom, my security clearance for client accounts. She dismissed me instantly. You are overreacting. Banks deal with this all the time. Just tell them it was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. She called identity theft a misunderstanding. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. Instead, I took a breath. There is something else I need to discuss. The beach house. The pause that followed was different. Heavier. What about it? Grandmother left it to me. Not to the family. To me, specifically. I could hear her breathing change. How do you know about that? Her lawyer contacted me. The will is filed. It is legal. The house is mine. Her voice dropped an octave. That will can be contested, Nora. Your lawyer already told you it cannot be. Another pause. She was not expecting that. We can discuss this at Christmas, she said finally. In person, like a family. No. We are discussing it now, and we are discussing you paying off this credit card. I do not have that kind of money lying around. Then figure it out. Because if you do not, I am filing a fraud report with the police and the credit bureau. You would not. Try me. Her voice changed again. Wounded. Accusatory. The voice she used when she wanted to make someone feel guilty for holding her accountable. After everything I have done for you, you would send your own mother to prison? You committed a crime against me, Mom. You do not get to play victim. We will talk about this later. Her voice was ice now. And do not forget. The children are arriving December 23rd. That has not changed. She hung up. I stared at the phone in the darkness of my apartment. She had admitted to fraud, deflected all responsibility, and still expected me to babysit. The audacity was almost impressive. The next morning I called Bank of America at 8 o'clock sharp. I explained the situation calmly, clinically, the way I would present a financial analysis to a client. I provided documentation showing I had never applied for the card, never signed anything, never received a single statement. The fraud department opened an investigation immediately. Do you want to file a police report? The representative asked. That would strengthen your case significantly. I hesitated. Filing a police report meant formally accusing my mother of identity theft. A felony charge. I was not ready for that. Not yet. Can I have a few days to decide? Of course, but I should mention something. Someone called yesterday asking about this account. They claimed to be you. They wanted to increase the credit limit. My blood went cold. Someone was impersonating me. Someone was still trying to dig the hole deeper. We will freeze the account pending investigation, the representative continued, and we will notify the credit bureaus. I hung up and sat at my kitchen table processing. My mother was not just a thief. She was still actively trying to steal more, and she was doing it under my name. That afternoon, I went to work. I tried to focus on the quarterly reports, tried to lose myself in numbers and projections, but my mind kept drifting to credit scores, to beach houses, to a mother who saw her children as resources to be exploited. My phone buzzed. An internal call. Daniel Chen wanted to see me. Daniel was senior vice president, my boss's boss, the man who would ultimately decide whether I got the promotion I had been working toward for 7 years. I walked to his corner office with my heart pounding. Nora. He gestured for me to sit. I wanted to congratulate you. The Henderson portfolio analysis was exceptional. The clients were impressed. Thank you. I kept my voice steady even as relief flooded through me. He leaned forward. There is something else. You are on the short list for director. My heart jumped. This was it. This was everything. The decision will be finalized in early January, he continued, right after the holiday break. But there is a condition. We need the Whitfield Foundation year-end report completed by January 2nd. It is a complex analysis. Normally a team project. But I want you to lead it solo. I understood immediately. This was my audition, my final test. If you nail this, the promotion is yours. I will deliver it, I said. You have my word. He nodded. I trust you, Nora. You have earned that. He paused. One more thing. There was some unusual activity on your background check renewal. HR flagged it. Probably nothing, but worth mentioning. My stomach dropped. The credit card, the late payments. It was already showing up. I thanked Daniel and walked back to my desk, my mind racing. The Whitfield report would require at least 60 hours of focused work. That meant working through the holidays. That meant I absolutely could not babysit 6 children for 4 days. That evening, my mother called again. Her voice was softer this time, warmer. I recognized the tactic immediately. Darling, I have been thinking about our conversation last night. I may have been reactive. It has been stressful since Mother passed. Are you apologizing? I am saying we should move forward. Together, as a family. She said nothing about repaying the debt. Nothing about acknowledging what she had done. Now about Christmas, she continued, as if the previous night had not happened. I have already told the little ones that Aunt Nora is hosting them. They are so excited. I never agreed to that. But you will. Because that is who you are, Nora. The reliable one. The one who puts family first. I have a critical work deadline, Mom. I cannot do it. Her voice sharpened. You are choosing work over family? Over your nieces and nephews? I am choosing my career. The career you said is not real. Do not twist my words. She paused. Vanessa really needs this break. She is going through something. As her sister, you should want to help. What is she going through? That is her business to share. The point is, family supports family. She hung up again. I sat in the silence of my apartment staring at my phone. Then 2 messages arrived almost simultaneously. The first was from Vanessa. Hey, Nora, quick question. What is your home Wi-Fi password? Asking for when we drop off the kids. I stared at it. Vanessa had been to my apartment twice in 5 years. Why would she need my Wi-Fi password weeks in advance? The second message was a voicemail from Marcus. Hey, it is me. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about something. Actually, never mind. I will call you tomorrow. Just be careful, okay? There is stuff you do not know. There is stuff you do not know. From the brother who never got involved in anything, the brother who always stayed neutral, the brother who was now warning me. The next morning, I arrived at work early. I was determined to focus, to push the family chaos out of my mind and concentrate on what I could control. I opened my email. Standard morning routine, meeting invites, client updates. One message stood out. From the HR department? Subject line, inquiry regarding your employment. My heart stopped. Ms. Mitchell, the email began. We received a phone call yesterday from an individual claiming to be concerned about your mental health and stability. The caller suggested you may be experiencing a personal crisis that could affect your professional performance. Per company policy, we are required to document such inquiries. Please contact HR at your earliest convenience to discuss. I read it 3 times. Someone had called my employer. Someone had claimed I was mentally unstable. Someone was trying to sabotage my career right as I was being considered for promotion. I knew who made that call. I knew it in my bones. My mother was not just stealing my money and my time. She was trying to destroy my career. That was when I realized. This was war. And I was done fighting with one hand tied behind my back. I walked into the HR conference room at 9:15 the next morning. Linda Vasquez, Senior HR Director, was already seated at the table. Her expression was professional but concerned. A manila folder sat between us. My employee file. I had spent 7 years building a spotless record, and now someone was trying to burn it down. Ms. Mitchell, Linda began, I want to assure you this is just a standard follow-up, not an accusation. I understand. Can you tell me exactly what was said? She opened her notes and read aloud. The caller identified herself as a concerned family member. She claimed you had been erratic and emotionally unstable for months. She suggested you were overwhelmed by family responsibilities you could not handle. She recommended the company monitor your work closely during this difficult time. I kept my face neutral even as rage burned beneath my skin. Linda continued, "The caller specifically mentioned your upcoming promotion consideration. There it was. Not just sabotage, targeted sabotage." "Did you get a name?" I asked. She declined to identify herself. Said she wanted to remain anonymous for your sake. For my sake. I almost laughed. That was my mother. Linda looked up from her notes. "That is a serious accusation, Ms. Mitchell. It is the truth. I can provide context if you would like." I gave her the abbreviated version, the estrangement, the manipulation, the Christmas babysitting demand I had refused. I did not mention the credit card fraud. Not yet. That was a card I was saving. Linda listened carefully, taking notes. When I finished, she set down her pen. "Nora, your work record is impeccable. 7 years without a single issue. One anonymous call does not change that. But I would recommend documenting any further contact. If this escalates, we will need a paper trail." "Believe me," I said, "I am documenting everything." She nodded. "One more thing." The caller mentioned something about a house inheritance creating family tension. She said you might try to take extended leave. I felt the precision of it, the calculation. My mother had not just called to cause trouble. She had planted specific seeds, emotionally unstable, cannot handle responsibilities, might take extended leave, mentioned the inheritance. She was constructing a narrative, a version of events where I was the problem, the difficult one, the crazy one. If I pushed back on babysitting, they could say I was unstable. If I fought for the beach house, they could say the inheritance made me greedy. If I filed fraud charges, they could say I was attacking my own mother during a mental breakdown. Patricia was building a case before I could build mine. I returned to my desk and tried to focus on the Whitfield report, but my mind kept circling back to Vanessa, the Wi-Fi password request, Patricia's hints about something she was going through. There was a piece missing. That afternoon, I made a decision that felt wrong but necessary. I logged into the family iCloud account, the one Patricia had set up years ago for sharing photos. I technically still had access, though I never used it. Vanessa had never changed her privacy settings. Her shared calendar was visible. I scrolled through December and felt the floor drop out from under me. December 23rd, drop kids at ends, 9 a.m., December 24th, appointment, Graham and Associates, 2 p.m., December 26th, follow-up call, G&A, December 27th, pick up kids. I searched Graham and Associates. The results loaded instantly, family law firm in Newton, Massachusetts, specializing in divorce, custody, and asset protection. 5-star reviews from women navigating difficult separations. Vanessa was not going on a wine tour. She was not relaxing with the adults. She was meeting with a divorce lawyer, multiple times, over 4 days, and she needed me to babysit so she could do it without her husband knowing. I scrolled back further in her calendar. 3 weeks ago. Consult with Realtor. CC Property Options. CC Cape Cod. My sister was not just interested in my share of the beach house. She was already meeting with realtors about it. I sat with this information, trying to piece it together. Vanessa was planning to divorce Greg. She needed money for lawyers and a fresh start. She was counting on the beach house inheritance. And when she discovered Eleanor left everything to me, she panicked. The Christmas babysitting was never about family bonding. It was a cover story. I was supposed to be Vanessa's alibi while she secretly dismantled her marriage. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered cautiously. "Is this Nora Mitchell?" The voice was female, older, unfamiliar. Eleanor's granddaughter? Who is this? "My name is Ruth Callahan. I was your grandmother's neighbor on Cape Cod for 32 years. The name clicked into place. Mrs. Callahan, the woman who brought Eleanor soup every week, who sat with her on the porch when I could not be there. "I have something I think you should know," Ruth said, "about your mother's visits to the house." I felt my pulse quicken. My mother barely visited. She said it was too far. Ruth laughed sadly. "Honey, your mother was at that house every other week for the past 6 months. She brought people with her, showed them around, a woman with a clipboard, a man in a suit, realtors. She was showing the house to buyers while Eleanor was still alive. There is one more thing, Ruth continued. The last time I saw Patricia there, about 3 weeks ago, she had your sister with her, Vanessa. They were measuring the rooms. I thanked Ruth and hung up. Measuring the rooms. They were already dividing up the property, already calculating square footage and market value, while Eleanor was still warm in her grave. That evening, I accessed the family email chain, an old account Patricia had created for family coordination. I never checked it anymore. But I had a feeling. I searched for beach house in Cape Cod. A thread from 2 months ago appeared. Patricia to Vanessa and Marcus. Subject line, mother's property, next steps. I opened it. The appraiser values the property at $1.2 million, Patricia had written. Once probate clears, we split 3 ways. Nora does not need to be involved. She will just complicate things with her questions. Vanessa had replied immediately. Agreed. Greg does not know about any of this. I need my share for legal expenses. Can we accelerate? And Marcus? His response was short. I am not comfortable with this. Patricia's reply to him was sharp. Then stay out of it and let us handle things. The last email in the thread was from Patricia, sent just 1 week ago. Nora is becoming a problem. I am handling it. Do not worry, I am handling it. That was the HR call, the sabotage, the systematic destruction of my credibility. And she had put it in writing. At 9:47 that night, I sat in a quiet corner of a cafe in Cambridge, away from family territory. Marcus walked in looking exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, shoulders tense. He sat across from me and did not waste time. Thanks for meeting me. I know things are complicated. You said there is stuff I do not know. So tell me. He took a deep breath. I have been a coward, Nora. I saw things and I did not say anything. I did not want to get involved. Get involved in what? He told me everything. He knew about the credit card months ago. Patricia had asked him to help manage Eleanor's expenses. He refused. She went behind his back. She told him she would figure it out. He did not know she meant identity theft. He also knew about the plan to sell the beach house. Vanessa and Mom have been working together, he said. They assumed the will would be split normally. When they found out grandmother left everything to you, they panicked. Why are you telling me now? He looked at the table. Because they asked me to spy on you. Mom called yesterday. She wanted me to check on you, report back what you were planning. She said you were having a breakdown, that you needed family intervention. His voice dropped. But I saw that email, Nora, the one she sent to your HR. She CC'd the wrong account. She meant to send it only to Vanessa. I saw it. He slid his phone across the table. On the screen was a forwarded email. Patricia to Vanessa, accidentally copied to Marcus. Subject line, handling Nora. I called her company today, the email read. Planted seeds about her mental state. If she tries to fight us on the house, we can point to her erratic behavior. The Christmas babysitting is critical. If she agrees, she looks stable. If she refuses, she looks selfish and confirms our narrative. Either way, we win. The credit card issue is manageable. She will not go to police. She is too afraid of confrontation. I stared at the screen, my mother's words, my sister's complicity, all of it laid bare. They had built a trap with me at the center. Every choice I made would be used against me. But they had made one mistake. They underestimated me. I looked at Marcus. Are you with me? Really with me? He did not hesitate. Yeah. I am done being their puppet. Good, I said, because we are going to need a plan. The coffee shop was nearly empty now, just me, Marcus, and the weight of what he had revealed. I read the email on his phone again. Every word was a confirmation of betrayal. Either way, we win. My mother had written those words about her own daughter, about me. Marcus broke the silence. I should have told you sooner, I know that. Why did you not? He looked away. Because I was afraid. Mom has a way of making you feel like you are the crazy one if you question her. Gaslighting. Yeah, that. He exhaled slowly. I have been on the receiving end too, not like you, but enough. I waited for him to continue. He stared at his coffee cup like it held answers he could not find anywhere else. When I started my real estate career, he said, Mom demanded 15% of every commission. She called it a family tax. I paid it for 2 years before Elena found out and put a stop to it. Elena, his wife. The woman Patricia always called controlling. That is why Elena is not coming for Christmas, Marcus continued. She refused to be around Mom anymore. Mom has never forgiven her. Tells everyone who will listen that Elena is the problem, that she turned me against the family. I thought about all the times I had heard Patricia criticize Elena, all the subtle comments about how she was not really part of the family, how she had changed Marcus. Now I understood. Elena had not changed him. She had protected him. Elena said something last year that stuck with me, Marcus said quietly. She said your mother does not have children. She has employees who forgot to negotiate a salary. I let those words settle. They were devastating because they were true. Tell me everything, I said. From the beginning. What do they actually want? Marcus laid it out piece by piece. The beach house was worth approximately $1.2 million. Patricia had assumed the property would be split equally among the 3 of us after Eleanor's death. She had already mentally spent her share, $400,000. Vanessa was counting on her share for divorce legal fees and what she called a fresh start fund. When Attorney Sullivan informed Patricia that Eleanor had left everything to me, they panicked. The credit card fraud, I said. That was not desperation, that was strategy. Marcus nodded. Mom has significant debt you do not know about, second mortgage on her house, credit cards maxed out. She has been living beyond her means for years. Dad's pension does not cover it. The $43,000 on your credit was just the tip. He paused. She tried the same thing with me. Opened a card in my name about 2 years ago. I caught it early and shut it down. She tried with Vanessa too, but Vanessa was already in financial trouble. No credit left to steal. So I was the only one with good credit. The only one she could exploit long-term. Exactly. He met my eyes. You were her golden goose. I processed this. My mother had systematically targeted me because I was the responsible one. Because I had built something. Because I had something worth taking. There is something else, Marcus said. About Dad's pension. Mom told everyone it barely covers expenses. But I saw a bank statement once. The pension is double what she claims. The rest goes somewhere else. Somewhere else. Another secret. Another lie. Marcus shifted in his seat. Now let me tell you about Vanessa. Her marriage has been crumbling for 3 years. Greg controls the finances. She has almost no money of her own. She has been secretly consulting divorce attorneys, but she cannot afford the retainers. And the beach house was supposed to be her escape fund. Exactly. When she heard about the inheritance, she saw her way out. She wants to buy out your share, or convince you to sell and split the proceeds. But the will says I cannot sell for 5 years. She does not know that. Mom did not tell her the conditions. The Christmas scheme suddenly looked different. They did not want me to babysit because I was good with kids. They wanted me distracted, overwhelmed, drowning in children so I would not ask questions about the beach house. So I would not talk to lawyers, so I would not read fine print. They were not just using me, they were trying to steal from me. Marcus reached into his jacket pocket. I have something else, something bigger. He pulled out his phone and opened a video file. I recorded this 3 weeks ago, at Mom's house. They did not know I was there. He pressed play. The footage was shaky, filmed from a hallway through a partially open door. Patricia and Vanessa sat in the living room. Documents were spread across the coffee table. The audio was clear enough to understand every word. Once we get Nora distracted with the children, we move on the house, Patricia said on screen. I have already contacted a buyer. But the will, Vanessa started to say. Patricia cut her off. The will can be challenged. Nora will not fight us. She never fights, and if she does, we have the HR complaint on file. Unstable behavior, history of family conflict. No judge will side with her. What about Marcus? Vanessa asked. Patricia laughed. Marcus is weak. He will fall in line once he sees which way the wind is blowing. He always does. I glanced at Marcus. His jaw was tight. I could see the shame in his eyes. And something else. Anger. Patricia continued on the video. Nora thinks her little job makes her special, but at the end of the day she is alone. No husband, no children, no one to fight for her. We are doing her a favor, really. She does not need that house. She does not need anything. She does not need anything. Spoken with casual cruelty. As if my needs did not exist. As if I did not exist. The video ended. I sat in silence, letting the words wash over me. There is one more thing, Marcus said. At the very end. Listen again. He rewound the video, Vanessa's voice barely audible. What if she finds out about the other account? The other account. I looked at Marcus. I do not know what it is, he said. I have tried to figure it out. I think it is connected to the pension money. The part Mom hides. Maybe an offshore account. Or a secret investment. Whatever it is, they are scared you will find it. I filed that away. Another mystery to solve. But not now. Now I needed a plan. Okay, I said, so we know what they are doing. The question is, what do we do about it? Marcus leaned forward. That is why I am here. I am done being the coward. What did you have in mind? You are the strategist, Nora. You analyze risks for a living. So analyze this, and let me help you execute. My mind shifted into professional mode. I had managed portfolios worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I had navigated hostile takeovers and market crashes. This was just another problem to solve, with higher personal stakes. I outlined the objectives. Protect the beach house inheritance, resolve the credit card fraud, neutralize the HR sabotage, avoid Christmas babysitting without giving them ammunition, and expose the conspiracy, on my terms, when I was ready. We discussed tactics. I would consult my own attorney. Someone separate from Sullivan. Someone for personal protection. I would continue documenting everything. Emails, calls, texts, dates, times. Marcus would stay neutral in the family, maintain his cover, gather more intel. We would not confront Patricia or Vanessa yet. Let them think their plan was working. What about the kids? Marcus asked. What are you going to do about Christmas? I am not babysitting. That is non-negotiable. They will lose their minds. Good, let them. But you need an excuse they cannot attack. I smiled slowly. Who said anything about an excuse? I pulled up a travel website on my phone and typed in the search bar. Maldives, December 23rd through 28th. First class. Marcus watched me search flights. You are actually going to leave the country. I am going to take a vacation, my first real vacation in 5 years. They will call it abandonment, running away. They can call it whatever they want. I will call it self-preservation. Marcus made me a promise. He would stay in Boston, maintain his cover, report back what they were planning. If they found out he was helping me, he would face the same treatment I had. But he did not seem afraid anymore. Then I will have finally done something worth getting disowned for, he said. We exchanged numbers on a new encrypted messaging app. Signal, disappearing messages enabled. From now on, we would communicate only through there, nothing on regular text. We stood to leave. I looked at my brother. For the first time in years, I felt like I actually had one. Marcus, I said, thank you. For finally showing up. Thank you for not shutting me out. I would not have blamed you. You are my brother, the real one, apparently. He smiled, tired but genuine. Let us burn it down, sis. That night I sat in my apartment. Flight search results glowed on my laptop screen. Maldives resorts, overwater villas, crystal blue water. The Whitfield Foundation report was open in another tab. I had not forgotten my career. A legal pad sat beside me with a handwritten list. Attorney, appointment Monday, Bank. Follow up on fraud case. Camera system. Research home security. HR. Request copy of documented complaint. Maldives. Book flights. My phone buzzed. A text from Patricia. Darling, just confirming. The children arrive December 23rd at 9 a.m. sharp. Make sure you have enough beds, and no screen time after 7 p.m. Vanessa is very strict about that. No question, no request, just orders. I typed my response. One word. Received. Let them think I was compliant. Let them feel secure. I looked at my list. 5 items, 5 steps to freedom. My mother thought she knew me, the reliable one, the quiet one, the one who never fights back. But she had never seen me fight before. She did not know what it looked like. She was about to find out. I clicked Book Now on the first-class ticket to Maldives. $23,000. December 23rd departure. Merry Christmas to me. I woke the next morning with something I had not felt in years. Clarity. The Maldives booking confirmation sat in my inbox. $23,400 for a first-class ticket and an overwater villa. December 23rd, departure. December 28th, return. I stared at those words and felt something unfamiliar settle into my chest. Power. For years I had been the one waiting for approval, waiting for recognition, waiting to be treated like a person instead of a convenience. I was done waiting. Now they would wait for me. But first, I needed to make sure every piece was in place. One mistake, and they would use it against me forever. I opened my laptop and created a new document. I named it Project Independence. Over the next 3 weeks, I executed the most important project of my life. And for once, I was the only client. The first week began with an attorney consultation. Caroline Park came highly recommended by a colleague who had gone through something similar. Her office was in downtown Boston, modern, efficient, Harvard Law diplomas on the wall. I walked in carrying a folder thick with documentation. The will, the credit card statements, the HR email, the video Marcus had recorded. I laid it all on her desk and watched her expression shift from professional interest to genuine concern. She reviewed everything carefully, asked clarifying questions, took detailed notes. Then she gave me her assessment. "The will is airtight," she said. "Your grandmother used one of the best estate attorneys in Massachusetts. Your mother has no legal standing to contest it. And the credit card fraud? Identity theft, a felony. You can press charges any time within the statute of limitations. The HR sabotage? Harder to prove legally, but document everything. It establishes a pattern of harassment." She picked up her phone and watched Marcus's video. Her eyebrows rose. "This is admissible as evidence if it comes to civil court. It shows premeditation and conspiracy." I asked her what she recommended. "You have options, Nora. You can go nuclear, press charges, file civil suits, expose everything publicly. Or you can hold your cards. Use the threat of exposure as leverage." She paused. "What do you want, justice or peace?" I thought about it. I want both, but I will settle for freedom. Before I left, Caroline drafted a cease and desist letter regarding the beach house. We did not send it yet, but it was ready. "There is one more thing," Caroline said as I was gathering my documents. "I did a quick property search. Your mother filed paperwork last month to become emergency executor of your grandmother's estate. The court rejected it, but she tried. Emergency executor. She had tried to give herself legal authority over the estate. Authority she did not have, authority the court denied. But she tried anyway." The second item on my list was home security. I contacted a company called Safeguard Home Systems and ordered a full package. Cameras at the front door and back entrance. Motion-activated alerts sent directly to my phone. Video storage in the cloud accessible from anywhere in the world, including the Maldives. A technician arrived the next day and installed everything in 4 hours. I tested the system repeatedly. Clear footage, instant notifications, perfect. I also changed all my locks. New deadbolt, new keys. I gave one spare to my neighbor across the hall. "Mr. Okonkwo." a retired police officer who had lived in the building for 15 years. I explained the situation briefly. I am going away for Christmas. My family might stop by uninvited. He nodded like he had seen this before. Family drama. I will keep an eye out. You want me to call the cops if anyone tries to break in? Yes, immediately. My apartment was no longer just a home, it was a fortress. That week I also checked the security app more carefully. Something caught my attention. A car I did not recognize had been parked outside my building 3 times in the past week. Same car, same spot. I took a screenshot of the license plate, just in case. The third item was work. I scheduled a meeting with Daniel Chen to discuss remote work during the holidays. I needed to be away from Boston, but I was still committed to the Whitfield report. I could not tell him the full truth, but I could tell him enough. Daniel, I need to discuss something personal. He listened with the focused attention of a man who had managed people for 20 years. I am dealing with a family situation. It is complicated. I need to be away from Boston over Christmas, but I am fully committed to delivering the Whitfield report on time. Where will you be? Maldives. His eyebrows rose. I know how it sounds. But I have learned that sometimes the best way to handle family pressure is to be unreachable. He considered this for a moment. You have never taken a real vacation. Not once in 7 years. I know, and you are confident you can deliver remotely. The resort has high-speed Wi-Fi. I have already tested it with their concierge. I will be working 4 hours every morning. The report will be done by December 30th. He nodded slowly. All right. I trust you, Nora. You have earned that. As I left his office, I passed the HR department. Through the glass, I saw Linda Vasquez on the phone. She looked troubled. She caught my eye and quickly looked away. Something was still happening. But I had prepared for that. The fourth item was the deception layer. I needed Patricia to believe everything was going according to her plan. If she suspected I was planning to leave, she might escalate. So I sent an email. Subject line: Christmas arrangements. Mom, I have been thinking about our conversation. You are right. Family is important. I have cleared my schedule and I am ready to help with the children. Please confirm drop-off time on December 23rd. I want to make sure everything is perfect for them. Warm, compliant, exactly what she expected. Patricia replied within 20 minutes. Darling, I knew you would come around. This is going to be wonderful. The children are so excited to stay with Aunt Nora. Drop-off is 9 a.m. sharp. Vanessa will bring supplies. Make sure you have healthy snacks. No sugar after 6 p.m. Love you. The speed of her response told me everything. She had been watching her email, waiting for my surrender, celebrating her victory. Marcus texted me through Signal that night. Mom is practically gloating. She called Vanessa to celebrate. They think they have won. Let them, I replied. The fifth discovery came in the second week. My phone rang with an unknown number. I almost ignored it. Then something made me answer. Good afternoon. Is this Nora Mitchell? Yes. Who is calling? This is Beacon Hill Property Management. We are calling about a maintenance issue at your Airbnb listing. I felt the floor shift beneath me. My what? The representative explained. Someone had registered my apartment address as an Airbnb rental. Listed for short-term vacation stays. Active for 6 months. Earnings deposited into an account I did not recognize. The listing name was Cozy Boston Hideaway. Host name: N. Mitchell. I searched for the listing online. There were photos of my apartment, my furniture, my view. Taken when? I was barely ever traveling. Then I remembered. Vanessa had visited 6 months ago. Just to catch up, she said. She had taken photos, asked about my schedule, asked for my Wi-Fi password. Vanessa had been renting out my home without my knowledge, using my identity, collecting income I never saw. I checked the Airbnb booking calendar. The listing showed December 23rd through 27th as blocked, owner use. She had blocked the dates because she knew the kids would be there. She had planned everything. The sixth discovery came on December 20th. 3 days before my departure. Attorney Sullivan called. "Ms. Mitchell, I need to inform you of a development." His voice was tense. "Your mother submitted documents to the county recorder's office yesterday. A deed transfer. She attempted to transfer ownership of the Cape Cod property to herself. On what grounds? She claimed to have a signed document from you, a notarized letter authorizing the transfer. My blood went cold. I never signed any such letter." "I know." "The county clerk noticed irregularities and flagged it. The signature did not match your samples on file. They contacted me. The transfer was rejected and reported. She may face criminal charges for attempted fraud. My mother had forged my signature on a legal document to steal a house worth over $1 million. You have grounds for immediate legal action," Sullivan said. "I can coordinate with law enforcement if you would like." "Not yet. Hold the documentation. I want everything ready. But I will decide when to strike." "Understood." "But Ms. Mitchell, this is escalating. Your mother is getting desperate." Desperate. That was exactly the right word. And desperate people make mistakes. December 20th. Evening. I sat in my apartment and reviewed my checklist. Attorney retained, evidence secured, home security installed, cameras active, remote work approved, career protected, deception email sent. Patricia believed I was compliant. Airbnb fraud documented, another charge if needed, forged signature reported. Patricia's desperation exposed, flights confirmed, first class to paradise. Marcus positioned, inside source ready. I packed my suitcase, summer dresses, swimsuits, laptop, work files. I checked my passport, valid until next year. I set my out-of-office reply to activate at 8 a.m. on December 23rd. I will be traveling internationally with limited access to email. For urgent matters, please contact my colleague Janet Rhodes. Marcus messaged me that night. Mom just confirmed with Vanessa. 9 a.m. drop-off. They are not even considering you might not be there. Let them come. You ready for this? I have never been more ready for anything in my life. I picked up my printed boarding pass. First class. Boston to Mail. Departing 6:15 a.m., December 23rd. $23,000 for a seat on an airplane. Some people would call it excessive, irresponsible, selfish. But those people had never spent 33 years being the family's silent workhorse. In 3 days, I would be lying on a beach in the Maldives while my mother screamed into an empty apartment. This was either the smartest thing I had ever done, or the beginning of the end. Either way, I was done playing by their rules. I set my alarm for 4 a.m. and closed my eyes. The game was about to begin. December 22nd, 11:47 at night. I stood in the middle of my apartment with my suitcase by the door. The cameras were armed. The water was shut off at the main valve. The thermostat was set to 60 degrees. The refrigerator was empty. Nothing to spoil, nothing to suggest I was coming back anytime soon. The apartment looked staged, like a museum exhibit of a life temporarily paused. I walked through each room one final time, checked every window, every lock, every detail. This was not paranoia, this was preparation. I placed my spare key in an envelope and slid it under Mr. Okonkwo's door. Inside was a note. "Thank you for watching over things. Call the police if anyone tries to enter. I owe you dinner when I return." He would find it in the morning. By then I would be somewhere over the Atlantic. My phone buzzed. One last message from Marcus. "Safe travels, sis. I will handle things from here. Go be free." I replied with a single word. "Thank you." I stood in my doorway looking back at the life I had built. The career, the apartment, the carefully constructed independence. For 33 years I had done everything right. Followed the rules, met expectations, asked for nothing, and still they treated me like I was nothing. Well, they were about to discover what nothing felt like. I locked the door and walked to the elevator. I did not look back. 4:30 in the morning. Logan International Airport, Terminal E. The airport was quiet at this hour, a liminal space between night and day. I checked in at the first-class counter. The agent smiled warmly. Maldives, Beautiful this time of year. Business or pleasure? Both, I said. And for the first time I meant it. The first-class lounge was nearly empty. I settled into a leather chair and ordered a mimosa. The bubbles were cold and perfect. I opened my laptop. The Whitfield report needed attention. But first, I had something else to do. I composed an email to Patricia, set to send at exactly 9:15 in the morning, 15 minutes after the planned drop-off time, subject line, change of plans. Mom, I apologize for any inconvenience, but I will not be available to watch the children this week. I have taken a much-needed vacation to focus on my mental health. Something you have expressed concern about to my employer. I am sure you understand. I trust you will find alternative arrangements. Merry Christmas. Nora. I read it twice. Cold, professional, devastating. I scheduled it and closed the laptop. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Have a safe flight, Ms. Mitchell. Your home is secure. Safeguard Home Systems. I stared at it. I had not requested a confirmation text. Something felt slightly off. But I did not have time to investigate. My flight was boarding, 6:15 in the morning. The plane pushed back from the gate. I was in seat 2A first-class cabin. A flight attendant offered champagne before takeoff. I accepted. The cabin was quiet, half-empty, luxurious. I watched Boston shrink below me, the city lights fading into the gray December dawn. For the first time in months, my shoulders relaxed. No phone calls to dread, no guilt trips to deflect, no demands to meet, just 17 hours of sky between me and chaos. I opened the Whitfield report and worked for 3 hours straight. Focused, productive. The irony was not lost on me. I was more efficient at 37,000 feet than I had ever been with my family in my head. By the time we landed in Dubai for the layover, I had completed 40% of the report. I thought about what my mother would say when she arrived at my apartment. I thought about the 6 children confused and asking where Aunt Nora was. I thought about Vanessa's carefully scheduled lawyer meetings now in jeopardy. And I felt nothing, no guilt, no regret. For once their problems were their problems, not mine. During the Dubai layover, I checked my phone briefly. No messages from family yet. It was still early morning in Boston. But there was an alert from my security app. Motion detected at front door. 6:47 a.m. Someone was already there, 3 hours early, 9 o'clock in the morning. Boston time. Patricia's SUV pulled up to my building at 8:52. Vanessa's minivan followed, packed with children and overnight bags. 6 kids. Lily was 7, Mason was 6. The twins Emma and Ethan were 4. Baby Olivia was 6 months. Noah was 2. Patricia led the procession to my door. She had a key code ready, but the code did not work. I had changed it. She knocked. No answer. Knocked harder. Nothing. Vanessa peered through the window. The apartment was dark. Still. Empty. Maybe she is in the shower, Vanessa offered. Patricia called my phone. It went straight to voicemail. The voicemails began. I listened to them later, all of them. The progression was almost musical. Voicemail 1, 9:03 a.m. Confused but still hopeful. Nora, darling, we are here. The children are so excited. Your door seems to be locked. Call me back as soon as you get this. We are waiting in the hallway. Voicemail 2, 9:17 a.m. Annoyed. Nora, this is not funny. Where are you? The babies are getting fussy. We have a schedule to keep. Call me immediately. Voicemail 3, 9:34 a.m. Angry. I do not know what kind of game you are playing, but this is completely unacceptable. Your sister has important appointments. You made a commitment. Answer your phone. Voicemail 4, 9:51 a.m. Desperate. Nora, please. I am begging you. We cannot take the children back. Vanessa has meetings. I have the wine tasting at 11. You cannot do this to us, please. In the background of that 4th voicemail, I heard a small voice. One of the children. Grandma, why is Aunt Nora being mean? Patricia's response was sharp. She is not being mean. She is being selfish. There is a difference. Patricia called Marcus. Have you heard from your sister? She is not answering. Marcus played his role perfectly. No, Mom. I have not talked to her in days. Is something wrong? She has abandoned us. We are standing outside her apartment with 6 children. That is strange. Maybe she had an emergency. The only emergency is her selfishness. If you hear from her, tell her to call me immediately. Meanwhile, Vanessa's carefully constructed plan was collapsing. She was supposed to meet with her divorce lawyer at 2 o'clock. If she had the kids, she could not go. She called Greg, her husband. "Honey, I need you to watch the kids. I have an appointment." "What kind of appointment?" "It is Christmas Eve, Vanessa. It is nothing. Just a thing with Mom." "Then why cannot your mom watch them?" Vanessa had no answer. Marcus texted me through Signal. "Vanessa just called Greg. He is asking questions. She is starting to panic. Also, Mom tried to call the building manager to let her into your apartment. He refused without proof of emergency." I was 37,000 feet above the Arabian Sea when I finally reviewed everything. Second leg of the flight. Dubai to Mail. I opened my phone during a brief Wi-Fi window. The notifications flooded in. 23 missed calls from Mom, 14 missed calls from Vanessa, 8 missed calls from unknown numbers, 47 text messages, 11 voicemails. I listened to every single one. The progression was extraordinary, confusion to irritation to anger to desperation to fury. By voicemail 8, Patricia was screaming, "You have destroyed this family. You are dead to me, do you hear me? Dead." Voicemail 11 was just crying. No words, just Patricia sobbing into the phone. The flight attendant asked if I was okay. I smiled. I am perfect. Just catching up on family news. I ordered another glass of champagne. There was a time when those voicemails would have broken me, when my mother's tears would have sent me rushing back, apologizing, begging for forgiveness I did not need. That time was over. I saved every voicemail, every text, every piece of evidence, not because I needed ammunition, but because I never wanted to forget who they really were when they did not get what they wanted. The plane touched down as the sun set over the Indian Ocean. Vallana International Airport. Pink and gold light spilled across the tarmac. I stepped off the plane into warm, humid air. 78 degrees. A universe away from Boston's December freeze. A speedboat took me across crystal blue water to the resort. Overwater villas. Thatched roofs. Infinity pools. My villa was at the end of a private pier. Isolated. Serene. Untouchable. The butler showed me around. Outdoor shower, glass floor panels to view the fish below, private deck with direct ocean access. "If you need anything, Ms. Mitchell, simply press this button." "I need nothing," I said. "That is exactly why I am here." I stood on the deck watching the stars appear. The ocean was impossibly calm. My phone sat inside, deliberately ignored. For the first time in 33 years, I was completely alone. And completely happy. Then my phone lit up inside the villa. I glanced at it through the glass door. An email notification from Vanessa. The subject line was visible. "I know where you are." I walked inside and opened the email. "Do not think you are clever, Nora. I have access to your credit card statements. I have seen the charge. Maldives. Really? While your family suffers? You have made your choice, but do not think this is over. When you come back, if you come back, there will be consequences. You have just made an enemy of everyone who ever loved you. Enjoy your vacation. It is the last peace you will ever have." I read it twice. Then I typed a reply. "Vanessa, I know about the Airbnb. I know about the divorce lawyer. And I know you and Mom forged my signature on property documents. Enjoy your Christmas. We will talk when I decide we will." I hit send. I set my phone to airplane mode and placed it in the villa safe. Then I walked back to the deck, poured myself a glass of wine, watched the moonlight dance across the water. Behind me, somewhere in Boston, my mother was screaming. My sister was scrambling. My family was imploding. And I was finally, beautifully free. The war was not over, but I had won the first battle. Tomorrow, the real chaos would begin. December 24th, Christmas Eve. I woke to the sound of waves lapping beneath my villa. Sunlight filtered through sheer curtains, casting golden patterns on the white sheets. For a moment I forgot where I was. Then I remembered, and I smiled. No alarm, no obligations, no one expecting anything from me. I made coffee using the French press the resort provided, Ethiopian blend, rich and smooth. I stepped onto my private deck wearing a silk robe and watched the ocean stretch endlessly before me. Turquoise fading to deep blue at the horizon. A reef shark glided past beneath the glass floor panels. I watched it without fear. This was what peace felt like. I tried to remember the last time I woke up without dread, without a mental checklist of everyone else's needs running through my head. I could not, because it had never happened. Not in 33 years. Until now. I retrieved my phone from the villa safe. Airplane mode was still on. I hesitated, then turned it off. The notifications exploded. 67 missed calls, 94 text messages, 19 voicemails. I set the phone face down on the table. Later, they could wait. They had always made me wait. Now it was their turn. Among the notifications, one stood out. A text from an unknown number. This is the Boston Police Department. Please call us at your earliest convenience regarding a welfare check request. Case number 47821. I stared at that message. Then I dialed the number. A dispatcher answered and transferred me to an officer. His name was Rodriguez. Ms. Mitchell, thank you for calling back. We received a report yesterday afternoon that you were missing. Missing? Yes, ma'am. A Patricia Mitchell filed the report. She claimed you had disappeared under suspicious circumstances and that she was concerned for your safety. I kept my voice level. I see. And what exactly did she tell you? She said you had a history of mental health issues, that you had been acting erratically, that she feared you might harm yourself. I almost laughed. Instead, I kept my composure. Officer, I appreciate your diligence, but I am not missing. I am on vacation. May I ask where you are? The Maldives. I am sitting on the deck of an overwater villa drinking coffee watching the sunrise. I left voluntarily. I am in no danger. There was a pause. Your mother was quite insistent. She called 3 times yesterday and twice this morning. I am sure she was. Officer, my mother is upset because I declined to babysit her grandchildren over the holidays. This is retaliation. His tone shifted slightly. I see. Well, you are clearly safe and sound. I will close the case. One more thing. Is filing a false missing persons report a crime? It can be. Misuse of emergency services. If you would like to file a complaint? Not yet, but please document everything. I may need that record later. Before hanging up, Officer Rodriguez added one more thing. When we informed your mother that we had located you and you were safe, she demanded we bring you home. We explained that is not how it works. She did not take it well. I ended the call and sat in the morning light. My mother had called the police. She had told them I was mentally unstable. She had demanded they force me to return. The desperation was escalating. A message arrived from Marcus through Signal. You awake? It is a war zone here. You need to hear this, I replied. I am awake. Tell me everything. His account came in fragments, voice messages, texts, a picture slowly forming of the chaos I had left behind. After I departed, Patricia and Vanessa had stood outside my apartment for 2 hours. The children grew hungry, cranky, chaotic. Vanessa finally took them back to Patricia's house. But Patricia insisted on staying, convinced I would come to my senses. The building manager threatened to call the police if she did not leave. She left. But not before pounding on Mr. Okonkwo's door demanding information. He told her exactly what I had hoped he would. Your daughter is not here. And even if she were, I would not tell you. Leave before I file a harassment complaint. At Patricia's house, the situation deteriorated rapidly. 6 children, no childcare, no plan. Vanessa had to cancel her divorce lawyer meeting. Family emergency, she called it. Greg kept asking questions. What appointment was so important you needed to dump the kids? Vanessa deflected, but Greg noticed. Patricia blamed everyone. Me, Marcus, the building manager, society at large. Marcus reported she was on her 4th bottle of wine since the previous afternoon. She was spiraling. He added another detail. Vanessa went through your mail. She convinced the building manager she was authorized. She found the letter from Attorney Sullivan about the beach house. She knows about the forged signature rejection. She is terrified. Meanwhile, Patricia had attempted to salvage her Christmas Eve plans. She had booked a virtual wine tasting, $400 for specialty wines shipped in advance. This was supposed to be her peaceful adult Christmas. Instead, she was surrounded by 6 screaming children and the ruins of her own scheme. She tried to do the wine tasting anyway, set up her laptop in the living room, opened the Zoom link. The sommelier began explaining the first wine, a Sonoma Pinot Noir. Baby Olivia started wailing. The twins knocked over a lamp. Noah spilled juice on the antique rug. Patricia muted herself and screamed at Vanessa. "Control these children," Vanessa screamed back. "I am trying. This was not supposed to happen." Patricia accidentally unmuted. The sommelier heard everything. The other virtual attendees witnessed Patricia Mitchell losing her composure completely. She slammed the laptop shut. 12 minutes. That was how long her $400 wine tasting lasted. I read this update while floating in my villa's private infinity pool. The absurdity was almost poetic. The woman who insisted on a peaceful adult Christmas was now drowning in the chaos she had orchestrated. At 2:17 in the afternoon, Boston time, my phone rang. "Vanessa," I answered. Curious what she would say. "Nora, finally. Where the hell are you? Somewhere warm. What do you want, Vanessa?" "I want to know why you did this, why you abandoned your family on Christmas." "I did not abandon anyone. I took a vacation. You assumed I would comply." "That was your mistake." Silence. "We needed you, Nora." "No, you needed a babysitter. There is a difference." She tried a different approach. Her voice softened. "Look, I know things have been tense, but we can fix this. Just come home. We will work it out. I am not coming home. Not until I am ready." "What do you want?" "An apology? Fine. I am sorry." "Okay, I am sorry we expected too much. That is not an apology. That is a complaint disguised as an apology." Her composure cracked. "You do not understand what is at stake for me. I have meetings, important meetings. My entire future depends on—" She stopped herself. "Depends on what? Your divorce lawyer appointments?" Dead silence. "How do you know about that?" "I know about everything, Vanessa. The lawyer, the Airbnb you set up in my name, the beach house measurements, all of it. That is... Save it. I am not your enemy, Vanessa. But I am not your doormat either. You want to divorce Greg? Do it honestly. Do not use me as your cover story." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "Greg is listening. He has been suspicious all week. If he finds out about the lawyer, he will drain the accounts before I can act. Nora, please, I am begging you, just do not tell him." I said nothing. She hung up. That afternoon, Patricia launched her counterattack on social media. A Facebook post designed for maximum sympathy. "My heart is broken this Christmas Eve. I always believed family meant everything. I raised my children with love, sacrifice, and devotion. But tonight my own daughter has abandoned us. She left her nieces and nephews crying at her door while she flew to some tropical resort. No explanation, no apology, just cruelty. I do not understand what I did to deserve this. Please pray for our family during this difficult time. #heartbrokenmother. #family first. #Christmas alone." The comments rolled in. Sympathy, support, prayers. But not everyone was convinced. Cousin Deborah posted a response. "Wait, is this the same Nora who drove to Cape Cod every weekend for 3 years to take care of Grandma Eleanor? The Nora who took care of everyone else's kids at every family gathering?" Maybe there is more to this story. Patricia deleted the comment. Deborah reposted it. Interesting that you deleted my comment, Patricia. What are you hiding? Marcus sent me screenshots. It is getting spicy. Cousin Deborah is not backing down. She just posted the photo of you at Grandma's bedside from 3 years ago. People are starting to ask questions. I spent Christmas Eve evening at the spa, a traditional Maldivian massage, a facial with local botanicals. 2 hours of silence and care. Afterward, I worked on the Whitfield report. 60% complete now, ahead of schedule despite everything, perhaps because of everything. Chaos clarifies priorities. At sunset, I sat on the beach and watched the sky turn orange and pink. A bonfire was lit for resort guests. I watched from a distance. A couple laughed nearby. Children built sandcastles. A family celebrated together. I felt no envy, only peace. Midnight Maldives time. A notification woke me, the security app, alert, motion detected at front door. Timestamp 11:47 p.m. Eastern Time. I opened the camera feed. A figure stood at my apartment door, trying the knob. It was not Patricia. It was not Vanessa. It was a man, tall, wearing a jacket I recognized. Greg, Vanessa's husband. He was at my apartment at midnight on Christmas Eve. He jiggled the handle, tried a key that did not work, looked over his shoulder like a man who knew he was doing something wrong. Then he pulled out his phone and made a call. The camera had no audio, but I could read his lips. She is not here. The apartment is empty. We need to talk. Greg was not just suspicious anymore. He was investigating, and somehow my apartment had become part of his search. The chaos I had escaped was evolving into something I had not anticipated. I saved the footage. Then I texted Marcus. We have a new problem. December 25th, Christmas Day. I woke slowly. Naturally. No alarm, no urgency. The ocean was glass still, reflecting the pale morning sky like a mirror. I lay in bed for 20 minutes, just breathing, listening to the silence. This was the first Christmas in my adult life where no one needed anything from me. The resort delivered breakfast to my villa, tropical fruit, fresh pastries, Maldivian honey. I ate on the deck with my feet dangling over the water. A sea turtle surfaced nearby. Its ancient eyes met mine for a moment before it dove back into the blue. I took a photo, my first Instagram post in months. The caption was simple, "Merry Christmas to me." I did not tag the location. Let them wonder. I thought about all the Christmases before this one, the frantic cooking, the endless cleaning, the chaos of children while everyone else relaxed. I thought about the year I spent Christmas Eve in the emergency room after Mom's minor kitchen accident, while she and Vanessa went to midnight mass. I thought about the gifts I carefully chose that were opened and glanced at and forgotten within minutes. And I thought about this moment. Alone, peaceful, enough. I checked my phone. A message from Marcus had arrived while I slept. It was 2 a.m, Boston time when he sent it. I am awake. It is chaos here. Greg found something. Everything is falling apart. Call me when you can. I called him immediately. His voice was exhausted, but there was something else in it, something that sounded almost like relief. He told me what happened. The night before, Christmas Eve. After Greg visited my apartment and found it empty, he went back to Patricia's house. Everyone was asleep. But Greg was not tired. He went through Vanessa's phone while she slept, found the calendar entries, Graham and Associates, the divorce lawyer, found text messages discussing strategy, asset division, custody plans, found references to the Nora situation, keeping Greg distracted. Christmas morning, Greg woke Vanessa at 6. We need to talk. Now. In Patricia's guest bedroom, voices rising despite the sleeping children. You are divorcing me? And you did not think to mention it? Greg, I can explain. Explain what? That you have been lying for months? That you used your own sister as a cover story? I was going to tell you. When? After you had drained the accounts and taken the kids? The children woke up, crying, confused. Lily, the oldest, asked the question no one wanted to answer. Is it because Aunt Nora did not come? That sentence hung in the air. Even a 7-year-old had connected the dots. Marcus continued. Greg just told Vanessa he is freezing all joint accounts first thing tomorrow. She is hysterical. Mom is trying to calm everyone down, but she is already on the wine again. It is 7:30 in the morning and she is already drinking. The matriarch was losing control. Patricia had tried to salvage Christmas morning. Everyone calm down. It is Christmas. We can discuss this later. But Greg was not interested in later. Stay out of this, Patricia. This is between me and my wife. Do not speak to me like that in my own house. Your house? You mean the house you are about to lose because you cannot pay the second mortgage you hid from everyone? Silence. Marcus told me Greg had been doing his own investigation. He found documents Patricia thought were hidden. A second mortgage taken out 3 years ago. Current balance $112,000. Payments behind. Foreclosure proceedings initiated. Vanessa turned on Patricia. Mom, you told me you were fine. You said the house was paid off. I was handling it. Handling it? By stealing Nora's identity? By trying to sell Grandma's beach house? That beach house should have been split equally. Your grandmother had no right. She had every right. It was her house. The alliance between Patricia and Vanessa was fracturing. They had been united against me. Now they were turning on each other. Greg stood in the corner watching, taking mental notes for his own legal strategy. Marcus added one more detail. Mom just admitted she opened credit cards in my name too. Not just yours. She said it was temporary. Dad's pension is not enough. She has been drowning for years and hiding it from everyone. Meanwhile, the Facebook battle was escalating. Patricia's Christmas Eve post was still generating comments. But the tide was turning. Cousin Deborah had been posting all morning. Old family photos. Nora at every holiday helping and cooking and cleaning. Nora at Grandma Eleanor's bedside. Nora holding baby Olivia at the hospital when Vanessa was too exhausted to stay awake. Her caption was pointed. This is the woman Patricia says abandoned her family. This is the woman who gave everything and asked for nothing. Before you judge, ask yourself what made her finally walk away. Other relatives joined in. Aunt Linda commented, Patricia, we need to talk. Privately. Uncle Robert wrote there are 2 sides to every story. A family friend added, I have known Nora since she was a child. She would not do this without reason. Patricia responded by deleting comments, blocking Deborah, posting a follow-up. It is sad when family chooses to spread lies instead of showing support. I know the truth. God knows the truth. That is all that matters. Then I received a private message from Aunt Linda. Nora, this is your Aunt Linda. We have not talked in years, but I need you to know something. I have the email your mother sent to your employer. She copied me by accident. I have kept it. If you need it, it is yours. I replied immediately. Aunt Linda, thank you for reaching out. I would appreciate seeing that email. I am compiling documentation for potential legal action. She forwarded it within minutes. There it was. From Patricia Mitchell. To the HR department at Wellington Capital. CC Linda Hargrove. Accidental copy. Subject line. Concerns about employee Nora Mitchell. The content matched what Linda from HR had described. Mental health concerns. Family conflict. Recommendation for monitoring. Timestamp, November 8th, right after I refused babysitting duty. My mother had put her sabotage in writing and sent it to her own sister by mistake. The universe has a dark sense of humor. That afternoon, Vanessa sent me a text. Long, rambling, unhinged. Are you happy now, Nora? Is this what you wanted? Greg found out everything. He is freezing the accounts. He is talking about full custody. My marriage is over. My life is over. All because you could not just watch the kids for 4 days. 4 days. That is all we asked. You ruined everything. You ruined my chance to get out. You ruined Mom's Christmas. You ruined this whole family. I hope you are enjoying your vacation. I hope the beach is beautiful, because when you come back you will have nothing, no family, no one who cares about you. You will die alone, Nora. Alone. Just like Grandma. And no one will come to your funeral either. I read it slowly. Each accusation registered, but none of them landed. Vanessa was blaming me for the consequences of her own lies. Her marriage was ending because of her deception. Not my vacation. I typed a response. Vanessa, I did not end your marriage. You did. You lied to Greg for months. You used me without asking. You stole my identity to make money. Those are your choices, not mine. I am sorry you are hurting, but I am not responsible for the fire you started. When you are ready to have an honest conversation, I will be here. Until then, please do not contact me. I blocked her number. I spent Christmas afternoon at the resort spa. The Whitfield report was now 75% complete, ahead of schedule. At sunset, I sat on the beach watching the sky turn gold. I felt no envy watching the families nearby. Only peace. That evening, an email arrived from Patricia. Subject line: I am sorry, Nora. Please read this. I opened it. My darling daughter, I do not know how things got so bad between us. I have been up all night crying. Christmas has been a disaster. Vanessa and Greg are fighting. The children are confused. Everyone is miserable. I know I pushed you too hard. I know I said things I should not have. The credit card. That was a mistake. I was desperate. Please come home. We can work this out. We can go back to how things were. You are my daughter. I love you. If you need me to apologize publicly, I will. Just please, do not abandon me completely. I am begging you, Nora. With all my love, Mom. I read it carefully. No acknowledgement of the HR sabotage, no mention of the forged signature, no real accountability. Go back to how things were. That was the most revealing line. She wanted the old Nora back. The compliant one. The silent one. This was not an apology. It was a negotiation. I did not reply to Patricia. Instead, I opened a new email. I added every relative I had an address for. 37 people. I copied Aunt Linda, Cousin Deborah, Marcus. Subject line: The truth about Christmas. From Nora Mitchell. I looked at the blinking cursor. 33 years of silence about to end. My mother wanted to go back to how things were, but I had already burned that bridge. There was no going back. There was only forward. I took a breath and started writing the truth. All of it. December 26th. 5:17 in the morning, Maldives time. I had been awake for hours, not from anxiety, from purpose. My laptop glowed in the darkness. The family email draft sat open on the screen. I had rewritten it 4 times. The first draft was angry, accusatory, too emotional. The second was defensive, explaining myself, too weak. The third was clinical, just facts, too cold. The fourth was balanced, factual but human, documented but personal. This was the one. I read it one final time, checked every attachment, screenshots, forwarded emails. The video Marcus recorded, verified every recipient, aunts, uncles, cousins, 37 email addresses. My finger hovered over the send button. Then a new email arrived. From Greg. Subject line: Nora, we need to talk. I am not your enemy. I opened it. Nora, I know we have never been close. I have been part of the family machinery that used you, even if I did not see it that way at the time. But things have changed. I have discovered what Vanessa and your mother have been doing, not just to me, but to you. The divorce lawyers, the financial schemes, the identity theft, the forged documents. I am filing for divorce. I am also filing for full custody of my children. I am writing because I may need your testimony, and because I think we are on the same side now. I was at your apartment Christmas Eve looking for evidence of the Airbnb fraud. Vanessa used your address, your identity. I found the listing. I have screenshots. If you are willing to talk, I would like to compare notes. We may be able to help each other. Greg. I assessed the situation. Greg was not my friend, but he was no longer my enemy. He had his own motivations: custody, protecting his assets, revenge on Vanessa. Our interests aligned, temporarily. I could use this, I replied. Greg, I received your email. I am willing to exchange information. I have documentation of the credit card fraud, the forged property documents, and the HR sabotage. I will share what is relevant to your case if you share what is relevant to mine. Let us schedule a call when I return to Boston. Nora. His response came within minutes. Thank you. One more thing. Vanessa kept a journal. I found it hidden in the garage. There are entries about the Nora plan dating back 2 years. She and your mother have been planning this for longer than you know. 2 years. They had been scheming for 2 years. While I was driving to Cape Cod every weekend, while I was caring for Eleanor, while I was believing we were family. 8 o'clock in the morning, Maldives time. I took a breath, clicked send. The email flew to 37 inboxes across the country. No taking it back now. The subject line was simple. The truth about Christmas. From Nora Mitchell. I opened with context. Dear family, I have been silent for a long time. Too long. Many of you have seen my mother's posts about how I abandoned the family this Christmas. I think it is time you heard my side of the story. With documentation. I laid out everything, section by section, the babysitting demand, the refusal to accept no. Patricia's words, you are single. You have no excuse. The credit card fraud, screenshots of the Bank of America account, $43,722, billed to Patricia's address. I did not open this card. I never signed anything. My mother used my social security number without my knowledge or consent. The HR sabotage. The email Patricia sent to Wellington Capital, thanks to Aunt Linda for providing it. I suggest the company monitor her closely during this difficult time. My mother tried to destroy my career because I would not babysit. The beach house fraud. The letter from Attorney Sullivan. The forged signature Patricia submitted to transfer property she does not own. The Airbnb fraud. Screenshots of the listing. Vanessa renting out my apartment without my knowledge. Collecting income I never saw. I closed with clarity. I did not abandon my family. I removed myself from a situation where I was being exploited, defrauded, and slandered. I chose to spend Christmas in peace rather than in servitude. That is not abandonment. That is self-preservation. I share this not for sympathy, but for truth. You can draw your own conclusions. With respect. Nora. The responses came quickly. Within 2 hours, the first wave arrived. Cousin Deborah was immediate. Nora. I knew there was more to this story. I am so sorry you have been carrying this alone. You have my full support. Let me know if you need anything. Aunt Linda replied next. I forwarded that email because I knew Patricia was lying. I have watched her manipulate people for 40 years. It was time someone stood up. I am proud of you, sweetheart. Uncle Robert was more measured. This is a lot to process. I always knew Patricia was difficult, but this is criminal behavior. I need to think about this. Aunt Margaret was direct. I am shocked but not surprised. Patricia has always believed the rules do not apply to her. Nora, you did the right thing by documenting everything. Protect yourself. Cousin James was blunt. Holy shit, Nora. I am sorry we all missed this. We should have paid more attention. One response stood out from the others. A cousin I barely knew. Nora, this is David. I work in financial crimes for the FBI. I am not suggesting federal charges at this point, but if you want to discuss your options, call me. This is serious. Then Patricia saw the email chain. She fired back with a reply all. Against all advice, she responded publicly. I am appalled at these lies being spread about me by my own daughter. Yes, I borrowed some money. Families do that. It was going to be paid back. Yes, I called her employer because I was worried about her mental health. Any mother would do the same. The beach house situation is a misunderstanding. I was trying to help. Nora has been manipulated by outside influences, probably that lawyer of hers, and is trying to destroy her own family. I am the victim here. I gave everything to my children, and this is how I am repaid. I will be consulting my attorney about these slanderous accusations. Do not contact me unless you are ready to apologize for believing these lies. Her email only confirmed what I had documented. She admitted to borrowing money. She admitted to calling my employer. She claimed misunderstanding about the forgery but offered no explanation. Every sentence dug her hole deeper. Cousin Deborah responded immediately. Reply all, Patricia. You just admitted to everything Nora accused you of. Borrowing money without consent is theft. Calling someone's employer with false claims is defamation. Misunderstanding about forged signatures is fraud. Please stop emailing. Aunt Margaret sent me a private message. Your mother just called me screaming. She says you have turned the whole family against her. I told her she turned herself against the family. She hung up on me. First time in 60 years. That afternoon, the legal notifications arrived from attorney Caroline Park. The cease and desist letter had been served to Patricia regarding unauthorized attempts to sell or transfer the Cape Cod property, warning that any further attempts would result in immediate civil action and criminal referral. Patricia had been formally notified she had no legal claim to the beach house. From Bank of America Fraud Department. Investigation complete. Finding confirmed identity theft. Responsible party, Patricia A. Mitchell. Account closed. Balance forgiven for Nora. Patricia would be billed for the $43,722 plus penalties and interest. Recommendation to pursue criminal charges at victim's discretion. Credit bureaus notified. Credit score restoration in progress. 2 major victories in one afternoon. The beach house was legally protected. The credit card debt was erased from my record. Patricia now owed the bank, not me. I texted Marcus. Bank confirmed fraud. Mom owes $43,000 plus interest. Cease and desist served on the beach house. It is over. His reply was immediate. She just got the letter. She threw a vase at the wall. Dad is hiding in the garage. How do you feel? Like I should have stood up years ago. But I am standing now. That evening, I finished the Whitfield Foundation report, 93 pages of comprehensive financial analysis, completed 2 days ahead of deadline. I sent it to Daniel Chen with a simple message. Please find attached the completed report. I believe you will find it thorough and actionable. I look forward to discussing next steps upon my return. Thank you for trusting me with this project. Nora. They told me I did not have a real job, that I just clicked a mouse all day. But while my family was imploding in chaos of their own making, I finished a report that would influence millions of dollars in investment decisions. While they screamed at each other over Christmas dinner, I secured my future. Daniel replied within an hour. Nora, just opened the report. Preliminary scan looks exceptional. We will review in detail when you return, but I wanted you to know. The committee has already been discussing your promotion. This will only help. Well done. Late that evening, one more email arrived, from an address I did not recognize. Subject line. About the other account. Ms. Mitchell, my name is Harold Pemberton. I was your grandmother Eleanor's financial advisor for 23 years. I am reaching out because I believe you should know about an account your grandmother maintained. One that was not included in her official will because she wanted it kept separate from family involvement. This account was funded through a life insurance policy your grandmother took out in 1987. The beneficiary was always listed as you. The current balance is approximately $340,000. Your mother does not know this account exists. Your grandmother specifically instructed me to contact you directly after her passing, but only after you had proven you could stand on your own. I believe that time has come. Please contact me at your convenience to arrange transfer of these funds. Respectfully, Harold Pemberton, CFP. I read the email 3 times, then a 4th. $340,000. A secret account. Grandmother knew. She prepared for this. Only after you had proven you could stand on your own. Eleanor was protecting me even from beyond the grave. I thought about the beach house, the trust fund, and now this. Grandmother Eleanor had not just loved me, she had believed in me, and she had given me the weapons to fight back, every single one. I closed my laptop and walked to the deck. The stars were impossibly bright. Somewhere out there, I liked to think she was watching. Thank you, I whispered to the sky. I will not let you down. January 2nd, 6 in the morning, Maldives time. I stood on my villa deck one final time. The ocean was calm, painted pink by the rising sun. My suitcase was packed. My laptop bag held the completed Whitfield report, already submitted, already praised. I had spent 11 days in paradise, the longest vacation of my adult life. I arrived exhausted, anxious, running from something. I was leaving rested, centered, walking toward something. I looked out at the water and took inventory of everything that had changed. Credit score restored. Beach house legally protected. Secret account with $340,000 awaiting transfer. Family in ruins of their own making. Career promotion imminent. Self-worth reclaimed. I thought about the woman who boarded the plane in Boston 11 days ago. She was angry, desperate, fleeing. The woman leaving the Maldives was different. She was not running anymore. She was returning, on her terms, to claim what was hers. The journey home was long, 17 hours. Mail to Dubai to Boston, first class again. I had earned it. I slept deeply, peacefully, no nightmares about family, no dread about what awaited. Just rest. During the Dubai layover, my phone buzzed with a calendar notification I had not set. Promotion announcement, January 3rd, 10 a.m. Conference room A. Daniel must have added it to my calendar remotely. 8:47 in the evening Eastern Time, Logan Airport. The cold hit me immediately. 12 degrees, snow on the ground. A universe away from the Maldives' warmth. I took a taxi home, watching the city lights blur past. Boston felt different now, smaller, less intimidating. I checked the security app before opening my apartment door. No alerts since Greg's midnight visit. Everything was exactly as I had left it. Cold, still, untouched. I turned on the heat, made tea, sat in the silence. Mr. Okonkwo had left my mail in a neat stack on the counter. Bills, junk mail, holiday cards from colleagues, and one handwritten envelope, no return address. I opened it carefully. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Nora, I do not know if you will ever speak to me again, and I would not blame you. I just wanted to say you were always the best of us. I am sorry I did not protect you. I am sorry I was weak. I hope someday you can forgive me. Dad, my father. The silent one. The one who never intervened. Never stood up for me. Never said a word while Patricia used me as a resource. I read it twice, then set it aside. I did not know what to feel. Not yet. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Mom knows you are back. She saw your Instagram story from the airport. She is planning something. Stay alert. The next morning I arrived at the office early, dressed sharply. Colleagues greeted me warmly. Word had spread about the Whitfield report. Daniel met me in the hallway. Ready? I have been ready for 7 years. Conference room A was filled with senior leadership. Daniel spoke first. The Whitfield Foundation report was exceptional, comprehensive, insightful, delivered ahead of schedule while Nora was managing personal challenges most of us cannot imagine. He paused. It is my pleasure to announce that Nora Mitchell has been promoted to Director of Investment Analysis, effective immediately. Applause, handshakes, congratulations. I accepted graciously, professionally, without tears. Daniel pulled me aside after. Nora, I have to ask, everything okay now, with the family situation? It is resolved, or resolving. I will not let it affect my work. It did not affect your work. That is why you are standing here. He extended his hand. Welcome to the leadership team, Director Mitchell. Director Mitchell, 7 years of work, 7 years of proving myself. My mother said I did not have a real job, that I just clicked a mouse. I wondered what she would say now. Actually, I did not wonder. I did not care. As I left Daniel's office, Linda from HR caught me in the hallway. Nora, quick word, that situation with the anonymous call. There has been a development. Your mother called again, yesterday, demanding to speak with your supervisor about your erratic international travel. We have blocked her number from our system. I thanked her and walked back to my desk, even now, even after everything. Patricia was still trying. January 4th. Saturday afternoon, 2:15. I was unpacking the last of my luggage when the doorbell rang. I checked the security camera. Patricia, alone, holding a Tupperware container, the universal peace offering of the manipulative mother. I could have ignored it, pretended I was not home, But that would be hiding, and I was done hiding. I opened the door but did not invite her in. I stood in the doorway blocking entry. She looked 10 years older than 2 weeks ago. Hair not styled, makeup minimal, dark circles under her eyes. Her hands shook slightly, holding the Tupperware. "Nora, I brought lasagna. Your favorite. Thank you." I took the container. Did not move. "Can I come in? It is cold out here. I would prefer to talk in the hallway." She flinched. "Nora, please. I just want to talk. To explain. Then explain. I am listening." She launched into her speech. The performance. "I know I have made mistakes. I know I hurt you. I was under so much pressure. The mortgage, the bills, taking care of everyone. You stole my identity. You forged my signature. You tried to destroy my career. I did not. I was trying to help. I was confused. I did not understand what I was doing. You understood exactly what you were doing. You told Vanessa in an email. Either way, we win." Her face went pale. "You have that email?" "I have everything, Mom. Every email, every voicemail, every document you forged. The video Marcus recorded, the journal Vanessa kept." Her voice hardened. "So what do you want? An apology?" "Fine. I am sorry. I am sorry I was not a perfect mother. I am sorry I needed help and did not know how to ask. That is not an apology. That is an excuse. Then what do you want from me? I want boundaries. Clear, documented, enforceable boundaries." I reached into my back pocket and pulled out a folded document. Printed, prepared. I handed it to her. The contract was detailed. Services agreement between Nora Mitchell and Patricia Mitchell. Childcare rate $75 per hour per child. Holiday rate $150 per hour per child. Minimum notice 30 days for all requests. Payment 100% upfront. Non-refundable. Verbal abuse clause. Any disparaging comments result in immediate termination of interaction. Property clause. Patricia acknowledges no legal claim to Cape Cod property. Credit clause. Patricia acknowledges responsibility for all fraudulent credit accounts. Failure to comply with any term constitutes consent to full legal prosecution of documented crimes. She stared at it. "You want me to sign a contract? To see my own grandchildren? I want you to understand that access to my time, my home, and my life is not automatic. It is earned. This is ridiculous. Family does not pay family, then family does not exploit family. Those are the terms, Mom. Take it or leave it. If you ever try to dump the kids on me again without asking, I will call Child Protective Services for abandonment." I am not joking. She tried one more angle. Her voice softened to a whisper. "I could go to prison, Nora. The bank, the credit cards. If you press charges." "I know, please. I am your mother. Do not destroy me. I am not destroying you. I am protecting myself. Something I should have done years ago. Your grandmother would be ashamed of you." The blade slid in, but it did not cut like it used to. "Actually, grandmother left me everything specifically because she knew what you were capable of. She even left me a secret account you did not know about. She protected me from you." Shock crossed her face. Then rage. Then something like fear. "What secret account? That is not your concern. What is your concern is that contract in your hand." She looked at the document. Looked at me. Looked at the camera still recording above my door. "Fine." Her voice was ice. "I will sign your precious contract." She produced a pen, signed at the bottom, handed it back. "Happy now?" "I am not happy, Mom. I am protected. There is a difference." She turned to leave, then paused. "Vanessa is coming to see you. Tonight. She thinks she can fix this. She thinks you will listen to her." She laughed bitterly. "Good luck with that." She walked away without looking back. That evening at 7:30 the doorbell rang again. Vanessa, alone. No Tupperware, just a large envelope. I opened the door but did not step aside. Her approach was different from Patricia's. She did not try to enter, Did not cry, did not beg. She looked exhausted, defeated, honest for the first time. I am not here to apologize. We both know I cannot undo what I did. Then why are you here? To give you this. She held out the envelope. Inside was full documentation of the Airbnb fraud, account details, income records, a signed confession acknowledging the scheme, transfer documents returning all earnings, $4,847. Greg's lawyer said I need to make amends where I can. This is what I can do. We talked, briefly. She admitted she had been desperate. Greg controlled everything. She thought if she could get enough money she could escape. She was ashamed to ask me for help. Patricia convinced her I would say no. So instead she committed fraud, and destroyed her marriage anyway. Maybe someday, she said quietly. Coffee? When I have done the work? Maybe. Someday. But not yet. She nodded. That is fair. She turned to leave. Marcus is moving to Seattle next month. Did he tell you? He mentioned it. He is the smart one, getting away from all of us. A sad smile. Take care, Nora. Later that night, Marcus texted me. How did it go? Mom signed the contract. Vanessa gave me Airbnb documentation. It is over. Not quite over. I found something in Mom's house while I was packing my stuff. He sent a photo, a ledger, handwritten, hidden in Patricia's closet, columns of numbers, dates, names labeled at the top, family contributions. She has been keeping track of everything she has ever spent on each of us. Every gift, every meal, every favor, for decades. She has been calculating what we owe her, our whole lives. The total next to your name is circled in red. She thinks you owe her $127,000. She has been planning this, the beach house, the credit cards, everything, as repayment. I stared at the photo, the ledger, the decades of calculations. My mother had not been desperate. She had been strategic. Every birthday gift was an investment. Every holiday dinner was a transaction. She did not love her children. She maintained accounts. And when I refused to pay, she tried to collect by force. I saved the photo, added it to the evidence folder. Then I texted Marcus. Thank you, for everything. Go to Seattle, start over, you have earned it. He replied. You too, sis. You too. I turned off my phone and looked around my apartment. My apartment, my life, my rules. The war was over. I had won. But victory, I was learning, was just the beginning of something new. April 15th, 7 a.m. I woke in a bedroom I had come to love, the master suite of the Cape Cod beach house. Sunlight streamed through white curtains carrying the smell of salt air. I had been coming here every other weekend since January, keeping my promise to grandmother Eleanor. I had made small changes, fresh paint, new linens, updated kitchen appliances. But the bones remained. Eleanor's reading chair by the window, the antique clock on the mantel, the photos on the walls. It was no longer a museum. It was a home. My home. I made coffee and carried it to the porch. The same view Eleanor watched for 60 years. Waves rolling onto the shore, seagulls calling in the distance, the endless horizon where the ocean met the sky. I understood now why my grandmother loved this place. It was not about the property value, it was about the peace. 3 months ago, I was flying to the Maldives to escape my family. Now I sat on my grandmother's porch watching the same waves she watched, drinking coffee in the quiet she protected. Everything was different. Everything was the same. The only thing that truly changed was me. My phone buzzed with a calendar reminder, quarterly family dinner, Patricia's house, 6 p.m. I stared at it, then dismissed the notification. I was not going. And for the first time, that decision came without guilt. The director role had settled into my bones over the past 3 months. Corner office now. Team of 6 analysts reporting to me. The Whitfield Foundation became a flagship case study. My analysis saved them $12 million in potential losses. Other clients requested me specifically. Colleagues treated me differently. Not as the reliable workhorse. As a leader. Daniel mentioned my name in board meetings. I had been invited to speak at an industry conference in September. The career my mother dismissed as clicking a mouse had become something undeniable. I used to measure my worth by how useful I was to others, how much I sacrificed, how little I asked for. Now I measured it by the impact of my work, the respect of my peers, the life I had built with my own hands. My mother said I did not have a real life because I was single. But sitting in my corner office, leading my team, owning my home, I had never felt more real. Harold Pemberton transferred the $340,000 as promised. I invested most of it. Long-term growth portfolio. I donated $40,000 to the Alzheimer's Association in Eleanor's name. A plaque at the Cape Cod Community Center now reads, Eleanor Rose Mitchell Memorial Garden. She would have liked that. Patricia was contained but not changed. The contract held. She had not called my office again. Had not attempted to visit unannounced. The $43,722 credit card debt was being repaid in monthly installments. Court ordered after my attorney filed a civil claim. The beach house had not been mentioned, but Patricia was still Patricia. She told relatives I was troubled, under the influence of lawyers. She hosted family dinners I no longer attended. Posted on Facebook about when families fall apart with sad emojis. She played the martyr, but to a smaller and smaller audience. The extended family had shifted. Aunt Linda called me monthly. Genuine conversations. Cousin Deborah had become a friend. We had lunch twice. Uncle Robert sent birthday cards now. The family that once accepted Patricia's narrative had fragmented. Some still believed her. Many did not. Aunt Linda mentioned something in our last call. Your father asked about you. He wants to reach out again but does not know how. I told him to give you space. Was that right? I said yes. But I had been thinking about that handwritten note ever since. Marcus moved to Seattle in February. New job, new apartment, new life. He called every Sunday. The first consistent sibling contact I had ever had. We talked about work, about the weather, about nothing in particular. It was the relationship we should have had all along. Any regrets? I asked him during our last conversation. About leaving? No. About not leaving sooner? Every day? Mom still calling? Once a week. I let it go to voicemail. She leaves messages about how I have abandoned her. Same script, different child. Yeah. But it does not work anymore. That is the difference. That is all the difference in the world. Vanessa's divorce finalized in March. Joint custody of the children, week on, week off. She was in a small apartment in Somerville working as a substitute teacher. She had been in therapy. Twice a week, she told Marcus. 3 weeks ago, she texted me. I know I said someday. Is today too soon? I considered for a full day, then replied. Saturday. The cafe on Newberry Street, 10 a.m. We met, we talked. For 2 hours, no accusations, no manipulation. Just two exhausted women trying to understand each other. I spent my whole life trying to be what Mom wanted, she said. The perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect mother. And I failed at everything. Because perfect was never possible. You were the one who got out. I hated you for it. Because I wanted out too, but I did not know how. I am sorry, Nora. Not because I want something. Because you deserved better. From all of us. I do not forgive you, I said. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But I believe you. And that is something. We are not sisters right now. But maybe someday we could be something. We agreed to meet again next month. I did not know what we would become. But the door was open. That was new. I finished my coffee and walked down to the beach. The April ocean was still cold, but the sun was warm. I took off my shoes and walked along the shoreline. Every time I visited, I wrote to Eleanor. Not emails, handwritten letters, old-fashioned, like she preferred. I read them aloud on the beach, then kept them in a box in the house. Dear grandmother, it has been 6 months since you left. 5 months since I discovered what you left behind. I understand now why you did it. The beach house. The trust. The secret account. You were not just leaving me money. You were leaving me permission. Permission to say no. Permission to walk away. Permission to choose myself. Mom signed the contract. Can you believe it? She actually signed a contract to see her own grandchildren. You probably could believe it. You knew her better than anyone. I am okay now, grandmother. Better than okay. I am free. I kept my promise. I did not let them use me anymore, and I kept your house. I kept your peace. I hope wherever you are that you are proud of me. I love you. I always will. Your granddaughter Nora. I folded the letter and held it to my chest. The waves rolled in. The seagulls called. I was not crying. I was smiling. For the first time in my adult life, I felt whole. I walked back to the house and sat in Eleanor's chair. My chair now. I looked out at the ocean and thought about the journey. I used to think family was about obligation, about duty, about sacrifice without question. I thought love meant giving until you had nothing left. That belonging required erasure. But I was wrong. Love is not a transaction. Family is not a debt ledger. Real love does not keep score. Real family does not require you to disappear. The people who truly love you will never ask you to destroy yourself for their comfort. And the people who do ask, they do not love you. They use you. It took me 33 years to learn that lesson, but I learned it, and I will never forget. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Hi Nora, this is Lily. I am 7. Mommy gave me your number. I just wanted to say I miss you. Can I visit the beach house someday? I promise I will be good. Love, Lily. A blue heart emoji at the end. I stared at the message. My niece, Vanessa's oldest. The little girl who asked why Aunt Nora was being mean. I typed back, Hi Lily, I would like that very much. We will plan something soon. Love, Aunt Nora. The sun was setting over the Atlantic. I poured myself a glass of wine and stood at the porch railing. Orange and pink light spilled across the water. The same view Eleanor watched for 6 decades. The same peace she protected. I think about who I was before this Christmas. The woman who said yes to everything, who measured her worth by her utility, who believed that being needed was the same as being loved. That woman is gone, not dead, just evolved. In her place is someone who knows her value, who guards her peace, who chooses herself without apology. Is that selfish? Maybe, my mother certainly thinks so, but I have learned something about selfishness. The people who call you selfish are usually the ones who can no longer exploit you, and that tells you everything you need to know. Was I wrong to fly to the Maldives while my family drowned in their own chaos? Was I cruel to force my mother to sign a contract? To expose her secrets to the family? Or was I finally, after 33 years, choosing to live? I used to need everyone's approval. I used to agonize over whether I was the villain in their story. But here is what I have learned. You can be the villain in someone else's story and still be the hero of your own. My mother will never forgive me. My sister might someday. My brother already has. And me? I have forgiven myself. That is the only forgiveness that truly matters. So that is my story. The Christmas I flew to the Maldives. The family that called me selfish. The grandmother who gave me the weapons to fight back. I look back at that woman sitting at the kids' table eating cold turkey, wiping mashed potatoes off toddlers' faces, while the adults laughed at the main table. I want to reach through time and tell her, you are worth more than your utility. Your life is real. Your time is yours. If you are listening to this, and you are the Nora of your family, the reliable one, the single one, the one they say has no excuse, please hear me. You are not their servant. You are not their safety net. You are not obligated to burn yourself to keep others warm. Sometimes the only way to get respect is to stop accepting disrespect. Sometimes the only way to find peace is to walk away from the chaos. And sometimes the best Christmas gift you can give yourself is a first-class ticket to somewhere beautiful, a locked door behind you, and the sound of your own phone ringing unanswered. So I am asking you, because I genuinely want to know, Was I wrong? Was I the villain for choosing myself? Or did I do what you have always wished you could do? Stand up, walk away, and finally live. Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your story too. And if this story spoke to you, if you felt something, recognized something, understood something, then do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Click the bell so you do not miss the next story, because there are more stories like this one. More women who chose themselves, more battles won, more peace reclaimed. You do not have to fight alone. None of us do. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Until next time, choose yourself. You are worth it. I raised my wine glass to the sunset. The ocean glimmered gold and rose. Somewhere behind me in the house, Eleanor's clock chimed the hour. And in the silence that followed, there was only peace. Merry Christmas to me. And to all of you. Merry everything. This story is fictionalized for dramatic effect